Okay, Ross, we have is it a cult classic or just a classic? It's a very good whiskey on the table.
It's a very good whiskey. It's very recognisable. So we've got Glendronach 12 Original,
Yep.
which actually has just been replaced by another Glendronach 12 without the word original.
I know, that's with our outdated content crap.
But this is something that loads of people are going to be familiar with.
Yeah, definitely.
As one of the kind of staple core range bottlings that have a sherry influence at a young age. So
yeah.
You've got kind of Macallan, Glendronach, Tamdhu, 12-year-olds that have all had sherry influence very consistently. Bottled at 43% as well, I believe. Yeah, 43%.
Yeah, it's a great example of, I feel like people who are new to whiskey, when you're trying to give them an overview of the different styles, this is the classic kind of sherried style without breaking the back. As you say, you mentioned Tamdhu and Macallan for their sherried 12-year-olds. You're looking at 60, 70 quid plus sometimes.
Yeah.
This is like now maybe 40.
Yeah, I think this Tamdhu and Glendronach's about £40, and Macallan that jump up to like 70-ish quid. But a distillery that we know and love, Huntly, Aberdeenshire. We've tried some of their older expressions as well that we've really enjoyed. But it's just like coming back to a familiar friend, I think. I've never owned a bottle of this, but I've drank it in many bars. It's
always a go-to option for me. I think as soon as you see that, I think that's a decent dram.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing you can never get bored of. I've got quite a sweet tooth, so for me it's all chocolatey and sticky toffee pudding and all that.
For a long time, this was kind of like your favourite distillery, wasn't it? Like back in the day, it was.
In the early days, it was the 15-year-old.
The old revival.
I thought was like, this is the perfect whiskey. I thought this was excellent value. But 15-year-old, when it was 45 quid, I thought that is perfection. With hindsight, obviously my palate sort of developed, like it was good, but it was maybe a little bit one-dimensional.
Yeah, fair.
Is that...
But see if that one dimension is what you like. Glendronach are great at that.
Yeah. I think they don't hold back on the sherry.
I've been the same with the 18, the Allardyce. It's a bottle that I've asked for Christmases.
Yeah.
It's kind of I think it was maybe one of the first bottles I ever spent over £100 on was a bottle of Allardyce. And I've been up to Glendronach a couple of times as well, which has always been really, really good fun. It's a great day out.
Yeah, now owned by Brown Foreman,
Yeah.
who own Jack Daniels and Glenglassaugh and Ben Riach as well. So I feel like last few years they have been pushing the premiumisation a little bit. We've sort of seen what Macallan have done and thought, well, we're also a sherry single malt. So let's try and cash in on that as well. So it has become a little bit pricier the last few years, which I think has scared a lot of people.
So this 12-year-old will have been distilled during Billy Walker's time at the company, but before it was built by Brown Foreman. Now Rachel Barry is a master blender. So maybe the spirit was produced then. She's put this into bottle most likely. And now, as I say, we've had a recent revamp. But let's have a little taste of this familiar whiskey. Yeah. And it looks great.
It's got some colour to it. That's good.
I actually like this. I like the look of the bottle, to be honest. How
do you feel about the recent rebrand?
Oh, I like most of the rebrands that have come in whiskey. I really like the Ben Riach rebrand, for example. But I don't know, I've always had a bottle of Glendronach in the house, one of the range, and I quite like that kind of... I guess it's maybe a little sexier to have the rebrand and raise the prices at the same time.
But it's always been a very indulgent dram for me, I think. Probably not a summer's day whiskey. It's not something you'd put in a highball, but if you're, cold winter's evening, having a chocolate cake or something, it's perfect.
Those, actually, it's not too in-your-face sherry. It's quite nutty and there's very little alcohol on the nose.
Yeah, maybe a bit of toffee and fudge. It's not overly chocolatey on the nose, I wouldn't say, but it's...
These younger expressions are going to have a wee bit more liveliness than maybe the single cask that they're known for.
This one's 43.
Yeah. All right.
For the money, I think it's very decent. I think if you're looking for a, amount of flavour, if you're ignoring the peated malts, this has got bags to it compared to, a purely bourbon cask.
I think you'll struggle to find a 12-year-old that says rich. The palate is... I think it's been a while since I tried it. The palate is great. Really approachable. Coats the mouth. It is rich, it's indulgent. It's not chocolate and coffee, but it is nutty and
does feel like they're
subtle
holding
reasons.
back a little bit.
Well, I think that's because we know what the big brothers of this taste like.
Yeah.
It's because we've had the older expressions like, oof, that's high quality sherry. This is a great way if somebody's not sure about sherry cask whiskey to get yourself into it. Something like the Glendronach.
Yeah, in a previous job I used to do whiskey and chocolate tastings. And often you get people who are completely new to whiskey and having this dram for the first time with, you know, a dark chocolate or something, and you just saw...
Totally open their eyes.
Totally open their mind. It was like, yeah, they're like, this is what whiskey can do.
I kind of get it, yeah. That's an absolute belter to come back to. It feels like a bit nostalgic.
Yeah.
And
it's like old faithful.
I know, it's as if I'm saying this like I had it 20 years ago. It's not the case. It's something that has always been around, but really nice to kind of try it in isolation. Maybe give it more time and thought than I normally would. The nose is great. The palate's delicious.
For me, it's one of those drams, it's never going to be a 10 out of 10. Like, we've tried some crazy drams on this channel which are tropical and vibrant or super smoky or whatever.
But it's always going to be a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always going to be pretty good. It's never going to disappoint. I think it's... Drams like this can sometimes verge into the bitterness to it with that dark chocolate thing, but this is always... For me, it's like milk chocolate.
Okay.
Whereas perhaps Glenfarclas, for example, can sometimes stray into dark chocolate and go a bit too far. But it's tasty, it's easygoing.
Pleasure to share it with you.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Cheers.
If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Bevvy content. We want to hear what you think, your best whiskey experiences, the whiskies you want us to try. It's a really exciting journey we're on, so make sure to join us. Download the Bevvy app on Google Play and App Store to keep track of your whiskey journey, connect with your whiskey friends, keep track of your favourites, anything you could ever want to do with whiskey, all in one place. It's the definitive whiskey companion.